Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy, Delightful Kiss Boy, and today I'm answering the question, how does the dealer AI work in endless mode? And on top of that, how much smarter is it than the old one? And when I say the old one, I'm talking about the one that's used in kind of the main mode of the game right now. We're going to be seeing exactly how much smarter it is. We're going to be quantifying it using some code-based experimentation. That's going to be a lot of fun towards the end of the video. So stick around if that sounds interesting to you. Consider subscribing if you like this kind of stuff. I'm doing a lot of coding, math stuff, lots of buckshot right now, but that's not all I do. I'm doing some gambling analysis, and I'm going to be branching out to other games in the future, but buckshot's what I'm on right now, baby. Anyway, let's get into it. So why am I answering this question right now? Didn't that update come out a heck of a long time ago? You are absolutely correct, motherfucker. I had a video a long time ago called How the Dealer AI Works from before that update came out. I think it was like last April or something like that. Introduced a new dealer AI for endless mode along with some new items to be used in endless mode as well, like the inverter, the grabbler or adrenaline, etc., etc. So I made this video, and at the time that I made this, the same AI was used between the main mode of the game and endless mode. And so it was all the same thing. But now I keep getting comments, you know, even now, where people are like, I don't think this is how the AI works. And they are all correct. That video is outdated. It is no longer applicable to endless mode. It's still applicable to the main mode of the game, so you can, you know, use the same stuff that I cover in that video to, you know, do speed running on the main mode of the game, or if you want to play that over and over again. But the real important stuff is the endless mode for single player, all right? So I was like, you know what, better late than never. Let me just get into it. Let me make a quick little video that explains how this AI works. So without further ado, let's get into it. How does this thing work? At a high level, the dealer is going to use items in the order that he picks them up. This is the same thing as the old dealer. You can't really see which order he picks up items from the box at any given time, but you'll know that if he carries over items from like one loadout to another loadout, he'll prefer to use the older items than the newer ones at a high level. Now he also uses his items before he steals your items, usually, if he has adrenaline. So if he's got adrenaline and he's got, you know, he's got cigarettes and you got cigarettes, he's going to use his cigarettes before he considers stealing yours. That's what I'm saying there. And then he also is going to steal your items, if he chooses to do so, in the order that you pick them up. So he's going to check, do I want this item? Do I want this item? And the order that he does that in is the order that you picked your items up, all right? So it's actually going to benefit you to remember which order you picked up your items, because that's going to tell you exactly which items he's going to yoink from you if he gets a grabbler or adrenaline. Now, when it comes to shooting, if he knows that the next shell is live, he shoots at you. He shoots at himself if he knows that the next one is blank, you know, assuming that he's already used his inverters, etc., etc. Pretty basic boo-boo shit. And if he doesn't know what the next shell is, he's going to shoot according to the following rules. Now, this is a big area where he differs from the previous AI. So, he's going to shoot you if there are more lives than there are blanks. So if there's 3 lives and 2 blanks, he's always going to shoot you. The old AI used to do a coin flip. No, he's always going to shoot you as long as there are more lives than there are blanks. On top of that, he's going to shoot himself if there are more blanks than there are lives, which is kind of fucking stupid, but that's what he does, all right? And if he's going to shoot randomly if the lives and blanks are equal. He's going to do a coin flip similar to the old AI, determine who to shoot at if they, like, let's say there's 3 live, 3 blank. Now, the other thing is there's a difference in him knowing shells now. So the old dealer AI would only know shells if he specifically saw them with the magnifying glass, or if it was the last shell in the loadout. This guy, however, if he knows where all of one type of shell is, he's going to know all of the shells in the loadout. So for example, if he uses a burner phone when there are 3 live and 1 blank, and he sees the blank, he's going to know the entire loadout from that point because he knows where all of the blanks are, and then by deduction, he knows where all of the lives are. It's the same thing if all of like the blanks are ejected, for example. So if there's only 3 lives, he's going to know that all of the remaining shells are all lives, and he's going to act accordingly. Vice versa if they're all blanks. So, New Dealer AI is better at deducing whether the next shell is live or blank based on his information. And he also shoots differently according to the blanks and lives in the loadout. Now, let's get into more specifics, starting with how he uses items. So I'm going to start off with some of the more basic ones. Magnifying glass is pretty damn easy. It's one of the older items from the game. Uses exactly the same as the old one. If he doesn't know what the next shell is and he has a magnifying glass, he's going to use it. Now, it's pretty simple-dimple, but remember, he knows the next shell if he knows all of one type. So he's going to be using magnifying glass less than the old dealer, simply because of the fact that he's able to deduce kind of what the next shell is more easily than the old dealer. So, but other than that, basically the same thing. No matter what the shell counts are, he's going to use the magnifying glass if he doesn't know what the next one is. So, if there's 3 live and 1 blank, and he learns where the blank is with the burner phone, he won't use the magnifying glass. Alright, that was kind of the example that I gave last time. Basically, if he knows where all of the blanks are, he's going to know the next shell is live, and he doesn't need to use the magnifying glass there. Now, cigarettes, also pretty simple. He uses them if his health is less than the max health for the round. Reminder, you can't go above your max health for the round. I've gotten some comments on some of my videos where they're like, why didn't you use cigarettes in this case? Well, it's because you can't go above your max health for the round. Anyway, handcuffs are next. They basically are the same thing as jammer for those who have only played multiplayer. Handcuffs, same exact thing. You slap them on your opponent and they skip their next turn. He's going to use handcuffs anytime there are more than 2 shells left. So it doesn't matter if they're all blank. As long as there are 2 or more shells in the loadout, he's going to slap those onto you. Alright? It's kind of stupid, but that's what he does. So even if there's 2 blanks left and he goes to him, he could just shoot himself twice, keep his handcuffs, but he chooses not to. He wants to handcuff you to show you who's boss before he passes the turn back to you, I guess. There you go. Pretty stupid, if I do say so myself. Now, next item in the list is beer. Now, beer had a fun interaction with the old dealer AI, which I'll get into in a sec. He chugs a cold one if there is more than 1 shell left, first of all. He will never use beer if there's only 1 shell left, regardless if it's blank. He just simply will not do it. If he doesn't know what the next shell is, then he will also... Basically, if he doesn't know what the next shell is, he will always use beer. But if he also knows that the next shell is blank, he will still use beer. Even though that's kind of dumb, because he could just shoot himself to get the blank out of the way. So him drinking a beer there is just kind of fucking stupid. But yeah, couldn't he just clear the blank? Yeah, but he loves a good brewski with the bros, you know? Who can blame him? Who can blame him? I mean, any opportunity to get some of that sweet, sweet Digita beer, I mean, I say it's a win. Honestly, it's honestly kind of better for him, because usually when the dealer drinks beer, it's helping you most of the time, except in certain cases. So, I don't know. Sometimes it could be construed as being intelligent. Who knows? But also, that bug... So, let me just give you a little bit of lore for those who don't know. The old dealer AI, which you can still play against in the main mode of the game, non-endless mode. Basically, what will happen is if he uses like a magnifying glass and knows what the next shell is, and he knows the next shell is a blank, he will drink the beer, and then he will continue to think that he knows that the next shell is blank, even though he just ejected the blank that he saw, and then he would always shoot himself on the next shot, which was pretty fucking stupid. But that is no longer how the new AI works. That bug was fixed, so he's a bit of a more functional drunk. Alright, he drinks a brewski, and then he's like, I don't know what the next shell is, intelligently. And there you go. That bug has been fixed. Now, next item on the list is handsaw, also pretty simple. He saws them off, saws her off anytime he's going to shoot you. So anytime that he decides, I want to shoot this guy, if he has a handsaw, he's going to saw it off. Doesn't matter if it was a coin flip, doesn't matter if he knows, the next shell is live, it's all the same. As long as he's going to shoot you and he has a handsaw, he's going to use it if he can. This means that's going to be one of the last items he uses for the turn. So basically, he will delay using the handsaw until he's certain that he's going to be shooting you, which is usually determined at the end of the turn. Although if he sees, the next shell is live, he may just use the handsaw next thing. It doesn't really affect things, but as long as he's going to be shooting you, he's going to be using that saw, baby. Anyway, the inverter is also pretty easy. He's only going to use the inverter if he specifically knows that the next shell is blank. So it doesn't matter if there's like more blanks than there are lives, and he could skew the shot in his favor. He will not invert the next shell unless he absolutely knows that the next shell is blank. So these tend to clog up his inventory because, more often than not, it's going to go to his turn and he's not going to know exactly what the next shell is. But if he knows the next shell is blank, either by deduction or by seeing it with a phone or a magnifying glass, he will always invert it using an inverter if he has one, or if he can steal yours, then he will invert it and shoot you. All right? He loves a good contraption. Who doesn't love a good contraption? Honestly, this looks pretty nifty. I would love to flick a switch every once in a while. This looks like a good fidget toy. You know what I mean? But let's move on. Burner phone is next. Burner phone is one of the new items added alongside inverter for endless mode. I say new, but this came out months ago. I'm just late. But here we go. Phone's a friend if there are more than 2 shells left. Alright, so as long as there are more than 2 shells left, even if he knows all of the remaining shells, he's still going to use the phone. I don't know, he just wants some emotional support. He's like, they're all lives, man, I don't know what to do. He says, fuck if I know, man, just shoot them, let them rip. But he'll use the phones regardless. But then on top of that, what's interesting is that he won't use the phone even if there's 1 live and 1 blank, even though it would tell him the next shell. He specifically will only use it if there are more than 2 shells left. Now, I think this is I don't know what's up with that. This might have been a mistake, because if he did use it, he would learn what the next shell is. Because in endless mode, unlike in multiplayer, you can learn a shell that's 1 in the future. So for context, in multiplayer, the burner phone was changed so that you can only learn a shell that's at least 2 in the future. So 3rd shell and beyond from the point that you're at. This one, you can learn the exact next shell, but the dealer AI specifically doesn't treat it as if it can, which is a little bit interesting. But there you go. So if he goes down to 2 shells, he'll hold on to it for some reason. He's multiplayer pilled, as I explained earlier. And now let's move on to expired medicine. Now this is one of the more complicated items to determine how he's going to use it. And there's actually I'll get to that later. Just hold on, all right? But expired medicine, let's see how he uses it in the average case. He's going to eat those yummy, yummy pills if he has less than max health and he has more than 1 health. So if it's a 2 health round, he will never use expired medicine. And also, if he doesn't have cigarettes. So he's going to check his inventory, and on top of that, he's going to check your inventory if he can, steal cigarettes from you. If he doesn't have cigarettes, you don't have cigarettes that he can steal, meaning that he has adrenaline, right? And you have cigarettes. And he's not at max health, and he has at least 1 or at least 2 health, then he will use expired medicine. Now, note that he's going to use expired medicine even if he's at 2 health on a 3 health round and can only gain 1 charge. So even though it's just a 50-50 chance of gaining 1 versus losing 1, he will still opt to do so because, the health cap is 3. I don't know. Sometimes it makes sense to actually do that as a player, but we'll get into that in a different video. Maybe a tier list video, who knows. But for now, this is how he uses it. Let's just recap. He will use them if he has less than max health, if he has more than 1 health, and he doesn't have cigarettes, and he doesn't have cigarettes that he can steal from you. And I say usually here, which is a little bit of a hint as to what's coming up. But finally, let's get into how he uses adrenaline. Now, adrenaline, what he's going to do, he's only going to use adrenaline after he decides he doesn't want to use any of his own items except for maybe adrenaline. So he's going to go through every single one of his other items. He's going to see, do I want to use this? Do I want to use this? Using the criteria outlined above. And then what he's going to do after that is when he runs out of his own items that he wants to use, he's going to start checking your items one after the other in the order that you picked them up. And he's going to use the exact same logic described earlier to decide if he wants to yoink one of your things. Now, he, as I said, checks them in the order that he picked them up. So what you can do is you can kind of set up little blockades to protect your best items. What you can do is you can put like a beer, I mean, you don't really have to put it anywhere, but you can keep a beer around so he can steal one of your beers, because he's going to use beers in like most cases unless he knows what the next shell is and he knows it's alive. And so you can keep it around so that he basically wastes an adrenaline stealing one of your beers. That's a pretty good strategy, but you just got to remember which order you pick shit up in, and there you go. That's how it works. As soon as he sees something he can use, he's going to yoink it, but he's going to check in the order, order that you picked them up. There you go. Now, after he finishes using all of his items, it's shooty time. He's going to get ready to shoot, and let's talk about how he does that in a little bit more detail. Now, the shooting logic, I guess I forgot to animate this slide, but there you go. It's all out in the open for you. So he's going to know, he knows the next shell. So he has like different logic for if he knows the next shell or not as compared to the old dealer, which just would only know it if he saw it with a magnifying glass or was the last shell. This is the criteria that determines if he knows the next shell. He's seen it with his own two eyes. I don't know, is that a link? Emojipedia. I guess I copied the link instead of the actual emoji. There you go. We learn something new every day. If he's seen it with a burner phone or a magnifying glass, he's going to know what the next shell is. Also, he's going to know what the next shell is if he's seen every blank, i.e. he uses a phone, he's seen one blank when there's 3 lives left, he's going to know the next one is live. Alternatively, if he's seen every live, if there's 3 blanks and 1 live and he knows where the live is, he's going to know where all the blanks are. And then if there's no blanks left, meaning if it's like 2 lives left, he's going to know that the next 2 are live. And then if there are no lives left as well. If he knows the next shell, he'll shoot at you if it's live, or himself if it's blank. Otherwise, let's go to his other kind of shooting logic here. Dumbass shooting logic, which is also not animated. There you go. He's going to shoot you if there are more blanks than there are lives. He's going to shoot himself if there are more lives than blanks. And, I've got a video for this dude to watch. You can see over here, I made a video about why you probably shouldn't shoot yourself most of the time. But apparently he missed the memo there and he shoots himself anyway. He's playing the odds, quote unquote. Now, if there are the same number of each shell, so if there's like 2 lives, 2 blanks, or 3 lives, 3 blanks, he does a coin flip just like the old dealer AI. And if it's heads, he's going to shoot you. If it's tails, he shoots himself. It's not really heads or tails. It's simpler to describe it like that. It's just a random number that he's generating. Now, these calculations, when I say like he shoots you if there are more blanks than lives, or, you know, more lives than blanks, etc., he doesn't take into account what he's seen with burner phone when he's calculating these counts. So like, let's say, for example, that there are like 3 live, 2 blanks. And he uses a burner phone and he sees that one of the shells is live. Now you and me, we can know that the remaining shells, the ones that he hasn't seen, are in a 2 and 2 distribution, right? There's 2 lives, there's 2 blanks, and then there's the 1 live that you saw where you saw it. He does not take into account this type of logic. So he will still be shooting you no matter what, even if he saw live, even though the distribution is like equal for the remaining shell, for the next shell. For example, he will not do the coin flip. He just takes into account the overall number of lives and blanks. All right? Subtle difference there, but I guess it kind of simplifies things. You just keep track. If there's more lives, he's going to shoot you. If there's more blanks, he's going to shoot himself. And if they're the same, he's going to do a coin flip and it's random. There we go. Now, this is kind of what I was hinting at earlier. This is really stupid, honestly. But there's a hyper-specific edge case for tryhards and or nerds, dweebs, you know, swirly enjoyers. Let's get into this. This is really dumb, and I don't think it's useful at all, but I saw it in the code, and I was like, that's interesting to me, and so I might as well share it. Here we go. We're in the nerd zone. Now, if this involves expired medicine, follow with me if you can. If you don't, I don't care if you skip ahead. We're going to get into this. if, and only if, the dealer has expired medicine in his possession, and the dealer is hurt, so at less than max health, and has more than 1 health, meaning that he would use expired medicine, and the exact next item the dealer will check to use is expired medicine, and the dealer went from not having adrenaline in this loadout to having it in this new loadout. So like, let's say you get new items. The dealer previously did not have adrenaline, but he just got some in the new loadout. When he's going to use expired medicine exactly next, and you have cigarettes, and the dealer doesn't have cigarettes, then, and only then, if all of this hyper-specific criteria is met, then the dealer would usually steal your cigarettes to use instead of using his own expired medicine. But in this one specific case that 99.999% of the time is not going to come up, he will use his expired medicine instead of stealing your cigarettes. Wow. Wow, isn't that amazing? Isn't that useful? I got the most useful facts for you about this fucking game. There we go. So if this ends up winning a run for you, first of all, holy shit, that has got to be the most hyper-specific thing. Not only for this to occur, but also for it to make a difference in you winning a run. I'm just saying that you are contractually obligated to Venmo me at least like $100. I think that's fair. It's so unlikely it's going to happen, but you Venmo me $100 if this happens to you. All right? This is so fucking stupid. There you go. I hope you found that interesting. There we go. And I'll tell you, like, part of the reason why that this happens is because of the order at which he computes if he has cigarettes or not. Now, the way that he kind of determines, basically what he does, just at a high level, is he takes all of his items and he puts them in a list. All right, the dealer's list of items to use. Now, before he checks if he has adrenaline, he's going to compute if he has cigarettes on his own. Okay, but then he's going to look, and if he has adrenaline, he's going to basically add all of your items to his inventory list. He's going to be like, oh, all your shit's my shit now. Okay, it's going to be all added to his list, and then that list will not get like refreshed basically until the start of his next turn, and then he's going to like, it's only going to work if it's the first thing he's going to use. If the first thing he's going to use is expired medicine, that is when he's not considering your items. Long story short, it's really dumb, but there you go. There you have it. Good Lord. All right, well, we're moving on. So we now know how he works, but how much smarter is he than the old AI that we got here? How the dealer AI works and why it's so dumb. Well, is this new AI so dumb? Let's see how much, he compares. I was talking a little bit of shit about him shooting himself in certain scenarios. So let's see how much harder he makes endless mode by being in it. So, the main upgrades that he has is that he will always shoot you if there are more lives than blanks. So this is an improvement. This is a definite improvement that, at least close to maybe half the time, he's going to be always shooting you. And when he's shooting you, he's going to be winning more often. I'll just tell you that one straight up. But on top of that, him knowing, basically being able to deduce the remaining loadout from the information that he knows, like if he sees all the blanks, he's going to know where all the lives are. That makes a huge difference, to be honest. So compared to the old dealer, excuse me, I just bumped my microphone, but there you go. You got to deal with it, baby. I don't script this shit. We do it live. But basically, because he knows where shit is, it's just going to make him more lethal, right? He's not going to do the shit where there's 2 lives left and he does a coin flip to determine if he's going to shoot himself or not. No, he's always going to shoot you in that scenario. So those are the main upgrades. But how much does this really do to impact the difficulty of the game? Well, how are we going to quantify this? Let's see some dealer-on-dealer action. I probably should have phrased that a little bit better. But for those who don't know, I've nerded out. I've written some code to basically simulate Buckshot Roulette in my own little console app. And so what I'm doing here is I'm going to be pitting the dealer versus the dealer in multiplayer, and we're going to see how he does. Basically, the old dealer AI versus the new dealer AI. So I'm going to cut to a little video. You can watch a match, best 2 out of 3, and let's come back and see how the boy does. All right? Have fun. Hello all and welcome. I have a delightful match set up for you today. In this corner, we got the new dealer. And in the opposite corner, we got the old dealer with a delightful little hat that I put on him to differentiate the two. We're starting off as just a classic multiplayer, 2-player, 1v1 match. Best 2 out of 3. May the best dealer win. So, we're starting off here. Old dealer is going to go first. We have 2 lives, 1 blank. Of course, we can see what's going on in the top left with the loadout, but they cannot. So, let's see what happens. So, they're getting some items. Old dealer gets adrenaline inverter, and new dealer gets jammer inverter. All right, and then old dealer is going to start. Now, the old dealer uses new items, is the same, basically in the same way that the new dealer does. So what he's going to do is he's going to not want to invert because he doesn't know what the next shell is, and he's going to opt to use adrenaline to steal the jammer here. All right, which is handcuffs basically. So old dealer is taking their turn. They're using adrenaline. They're stealing that jammer. They're going to jam the old dealer, and now the old dealer uses just coin flips to determine who's going to get shot if he doesn't know what the next shell is. So it's a 50-50 chance either way. He shoots himself versus the new dealer. Let's see what he opts to do. He's going to shoot himself. Great start. Hits himself for 1 there, and then it goes to the new dealer, but they're jammed. So it's going to go back to the old dealer, and now it's a 50-50 if they're going to shoot the new dealer or not. And they're going to opt to taste another bullet, but it is a blank this time. And now the old dealer always knows what the last shell is. He's going to pick it up and shoot the new dealer for 1. And then they're going to go to the next loadout, excuse me. New dealer gets to start this time because it's multiplayer, not endless mode. And so we're going to see what happens here. Alright, so the next loadout is 3 live, 3 blank. All blanks to start off with. And old dealer gets a beer, adrenaline, and beer. And the new dealer gets adrenaline, magnifying glass, cigarettes. So new dealer is going to start. They don't know, so the first item they picked up last time was the inverter, but they don't know what the next shell is. Then after that, they picked up adrenaline, but they wait to use adrenaline until they've determined they don't want to use any of their other items. The next one is magnifying glass that they picked up, so they're going to use that first. So they're grabbing magnifying glass, they're going to use it, they're going to see the next shell is blank. Then they're going to use the inverter now, because the inverter was the first item they picked up, and they know the next shell is blank, so they're going to turn it into a live. Then after that, they're going to use the cigarettes because they're not at full health, and that was the next item that they picked up. And then they're going to smoke up here. But then after this, they're going to use adrenaline because well, actually, they're not going to use adrenaline because they know the next shell is alive, and so they don't want to eject or anything like that. So they're just going to use cigarettes here. They don't want to grab beer to eject because the next one they know is alive. So they're just going to pick it up and shoot the old dealer for 1. Now, the old dealer is going to go, and the old dealer is going to start by using both of its beers. All right, so it's going to go beer, it's going to go beer, and now at this point, it can't steal anything from the new dealer, and it doesn't know that the next shell is what it is at all, actually, but it also doesn't know that it's blank, so it's not going to use the inverter here. So instead, it's going to shoot randomly. He flips the coin, luckily, and is shooting the new dealer for 1 here. Goes to the new dealer. New dealer doesn't want to steal anything here. He's just going to pick it up and shoot the old dealer, because he knows the rest of the loadout now, because he knows where all of the, well, he knows there's no more blanks left, so he's going to shoot the old dealer. And now old dealer gets to go, and he knows the last shell, so he's just going to shoot the new dealer here. Boom. And then new dealer gets to start the new loadout. So it's going to be 2 live, 1 blank, and let's see what they get. Old dealer gets beer, inverter, and the new dealer gets beer and inverter. So same thing. All right, so new dealer gets to start. He's going to start off by using his own beer. He's going to eject 1. He ejects a live. And then he's going to steal the opponent's beer. So he ejects a live there. And then now he's just going to shoot old dealer with the last shell in the loadout and kill him right there. Boom. So first round goes to the new dealer. Let's move on to round 2. So old dealer gets to start now because they lost round 1, and that's how it works in multiplayer. 3 health each, and it is 3 live, 2 blank. So let's see what items they get. So old dealer gets beer, adrenaline, beer, and then new dealer gets burner phone, inverter, burner phone. So old dealer is going to start. They're going to start off by going with using both of their beers. So ejecting one, they eject a live. They're going to use another beer, eject a live. They're going to use adrenaline here, and they're going to grab a burner phone from the new dealer. So it's because he can use it, so he's going to steal it, and boom, there he goes. He learns the last shell is blank. This, of course, is useless to the old dealer because he already is going to know the last shell, and he's just going to fire randomly anyway. So fires at himself here, hits himself for one, good stuff. Now, new dealer knows that there are 2 blank shells remaining. He's not going to use burner phone because there are only 2 shells left, and he only uses it if there are more than 2 shells left. But he will use inverter because he knows the next shell is blank. So he's going to pick it up, use the inverter, he's going to pick up the shotgun, shoot the old dealer for 1. Not looking great for the old dealer here, but he knows the last shell, and he's going to eject it on himself. Go to the next loadout here, and he gets to start now, though. So he's got adrenaline, inverter, adrenaline, and new dealer has jammer, adrenaline, beer. So old dealer, what they're going to do is they're not going to use the inverter because they don't know what the next shell is, but they're going to use adrenaline to steal the burner phone from last loadout because that was the first item that the new dealer picked up. So he's going to use adrenaline here, steal burner phone, learns that this shell is live. He's going to use adrenaline again. He's going to steal jammer now, I think, because he picked up jammer before he picked up beer. So he steals a jammer, jams the new dealer here. He's going to shoot himself because he's shooting randomly, as usual, and ejects a blank, luckily. And then he's going to go again, another coin flip as to who he's going to shoot. He's going to shoot himself again, so luckily he ejects another blank. Now he knows what the next shell is, so he's guaranteed to shoot the new dealer for 1 here. Boom, hits him. But now, once again, he's a stupid dipshit, so he forgets that there are no blanks left. It's a 50-50 once again as to who he's going to shoot, and he opts to shoot himself, taking himself out to the barn. Taking himself out to pasture. And new dealer has already won the match because, it's 2 wins for the new dealer. But let's just play out round 3. Let's just see what happens here. We move on to the new round, and old dealer gets to go first here on 3 live, 1 blank. And then new dealer pulls out an inverter, a jammer, and beer. Old dealer pulls out an inverter, beer, and burner phone. And old dealer gets to start. So they're going to start off by using beer, and then they're going to use burner phone after that because there's still 3 shells left. So they're going to eject the blank, they're going to use burner phone, they're going to learn the last shell is live, which is completely useless information for the old dealer. And he's going to shoot himself anyway, because that's how the coin flips go, buddy. Hits himself in the face for 1. Now, new dealer is going to go, and he's going to start off by, let me see what he grabbed first, using jammer. So he's going to jam old dealer. Then he's going to eject 1 with the beer, and then he's going to shoot old dealer for 1 here. So he uses jammer here, jams old dealer, shoots him for 1, boom. And then actually he's not going to eject it, he's just, because he knows the next one is live, because it's only a round remaining. He doesn't use beer on known live rounds, so he's just going to shoot the old dealer for 1 and call it a day. And congratulations go to the new dealer. Won fair and square, best 2 out of 3 in multiplayer. There you go. Alright, are you back? Yep, I can't believe the old dealer lost. What the hell's going on here? Well, let's see. New dealer versus old dealer 1v1 multiplayer. Let's see how he does in 10,000 runs of best 2 out of 3. You saw one of them, but I ran 10,000 of them. I mean, not all through the graphics UI, yada, yada, yada. But I got some data out of it, and let's see how the old dealer did versus the new dealer in some of those multiplayer 1v1s. Well, the new dealer won 71.33% of the matches. That's pretty definitive. And the new dealer won 64.76% of the rounds in those matches. So his round-to-round win rate is slightly lower, but his overall match win rate is going to be higher because it's best 2 out of 3. Therefore, you're more likely to have the better player to win a match than you are an individual round. But you can see here, he's winning more than 2/3 of the rounds anyway versus the old dealer. So yeah, the new dealer is smarter than the old one, right? Well, this isn't exactly a fair setup because In multiplayer, yes, you know, the new dealer wins more often than the old dealer, but these dealers, they were designed specifically to be played against in endless mode. So we have to be kind of putting it in that context. So they were designed for endless mode, not multiplayer. So I can't just expect that an AI that was written for endless mode is all of a sudden just going to perform well in multiplayer. So how are we going to test this? Well, what I've gone ahead and done is I wrote a quick little AI to represent kind of a typical player. You can see right here I titled it Typical Endless Mode Player. It's just kind of a heuristic-based, kind of okay-ish AI. And I'm going to have it play endless mode against both of the AIs, and we're going to see how the win rate is impacted by the different AIs in different scenarios. I'll get to it in a sec. But the AI I've written essentially here, it's pretty basic. It's just, you know, it uses items pretty aggressively. So a lot of the times in the game, you're going to want to hold on to your items until towards the end of the loadout. This guy doesn't do that. Basically, if he sees any benefit that can be gotten out of, you know, using an item, he's pretty much just going to send it, baby, because he's not really thinking too much. On top of that, he's always going to shoot the dealer unless he knows that the next shell is blank, right? So if he knows the next shell is blank, he'll either like invert it or he'll shoot himself to clear the blank. But he's always going to shoot OP in other cases. He's seen my video. He knows you don't aim at yourself most of the time unless you know the next shell is blank. There we go. And then he's also going to use items in kind of a more beneficial order in general than the dealer. But, you know, not all the time. He's not perfect. Poe, but he's perfect. But the reason I did this instead of doing like the Expectimax stuff is because he's not supposed to be super smart. He's just kind of going to be like an okay player. That's, you know, going to be typical of, like, you know, this is representative of an average guy who's picking up the game and trying it out, right? On top of that, the Expectimax algorithm that I have is not set up to run against the dealer yet. I will be doing that. Future video alert. But it also runs a lot slower. So I wanted something that was, like, simple and rules-based so that I could run, you know, thousands and thousands of games very quickly and not have to be here running it for weeks. So there you go. But let's get into it. Let's see how this typical AI, this typical average player, you know, endless mode AI, does against the new dealer AI in regular endless mode. So cut to the video. I'll be right back. All right, and we are back. We have Guy right down here in beautiful minion yellow versus the new dealer in good old-fashioned endless mode. This is with the current rules, so with the new items, etc., etc. Starting off with 0 buckaroonies. Let's see how Guy does. It's a 4-and-4 loadout, and they're going to pick up their items. Let's see what they do. So, Guy gets adrenaline, expired medicine, and new dealer gets cigarettes and jammer. And Guy gets to start, per usual, because that's how endless mode goes, baby. Player always starts first. So I think what Guy is going to do here is he's going to steal the jammer and use it on new dealer. And then he watched my video about never shooting yourself. So he's going to shoot the dealer twice here, which is not going to pan out because the next 2 shots are both blank, but that's how it goes sometimes. Now it's going to go to the new dealer. They're going to go. They're not damaged, so they're not going to use their cigarettes. There are 4 alive, 2 blanks, so there are more lives than there are blanks. They're going to shoot Guy no matter what here and hit them for 1. Boom. So Guy takes 1. Guy is not going to use expired medicine because it's pretty bad in this scenario. He's just going to pick it up and shoot right back. Hits new dealer for 1. New dealer is going to smoke back up to 3 and going to shoot randomly because there's 2 live, 2 blank. Opts to shoot themselves and hits themselves with a live. Good stuff, good stuff. Now Guy is going to go, and Guy is just going to go ahead and shoot dealer again because he never shoots it himself if he doesn't know what the next shell is. And now new dealer, it's a 50-50 if he's going to shoot himself versus Guy because there's an equal number of lives and blanks. Let's see what he opts to do. He's going to shoot Guy here and hits Guy for 1. Not looking great for Guy here, but they get to go first on the next loadout, so let's see what happens. Last shell is a blank. They're going to aim at themselves, and kablooey, nothing happens. All right, let's see what the new loadout has in store for us. That's 3 live, 3 blank, and let's see what items they get. So, new dealer gets magnifying glass, inverter, smokes, handsaw, and another handsaw. Guy gets magnifying glass, burner phone, a beer, inverter, and adrenaline right there. So let's see what Guy opts to do. should have a guaranteed win here, actually. So he's going to go ahead and use burner phone to start off with. He's going to use beer, ejects a blank. He's going to use magnifying glass, sees alive. He's going to use adrenaline, steals the handsaw, and shoots new dealer for 2. Boom, wins round 1 of the first gauntlet. All right, let's see what happens. Now it's round 2 of the first gauntlet. And guy just, he gets to go first here. It's a 2 health round. Let's see what happens. So, new dealer gets adrenaline, burner phone, beer, magnifying glass. Guy gets beer, jammer, adrenaline, and smokes. And so let's see what he opts to do here. It is a 3 and 4 round. And guy is starting. Let's see what he does. He's going to use beer to eject 1. So ejects a live here. He's going to use jammer. Jams new dealer. He's going to use adrenaline. Steals magnifying glass here. Sees a blank. Ejects the blank. And then he's going to pick it up and shoot back a new dealer here. Hits a new dealer with a blank for no damage. Goes back to new dealer, but then it's going to go back to guy. He's going to shoot new dealer again with another blank for no damage. And now new dealer is going to go. And he's going to use, I can't remember which order he picked shit up in, but he's going to use burner phone first. He's going to learn that the last shell is live, or is blank. Now he knows the entire rest of the loadout, so he knows the next 2 shells are both live. So that means he's not going to use beer here. Instead, is just going to shoot guy here for 1. Now guy's going to go, and guy's going to smoke back up to 2 because he's got cigarettes. And then he's going to pick it up and shoot new dealer because he always shoots new dealer when he doesn't know what the next shell is. Hits him for 1. Now new dealer is going to go, knows the last shell is blank. He's just going to go ahead and drink a beer here, I think, to eject it. Or no, he's just going to shoot himself because he doesn't use beer. You know, he uses beer only if... he never uses it on the last shot. Okay, so normally he would use beer here to eject, but when it gets to the last shot, he opts not to use beer. So he's going to shoot himself, goes to the next loadout, and let's see what happens. It's 3 live, 3 blank. Guy gets to start per usual. All right, he gets a burner phone, a magnifying glass, handsaw, and adrenaline. And new dealer gets handsaw, inverter, expired medicine, and magnifying glass. Guy gets to start here. Let's see what he opts to do. He's going to take a peek in the future with a burner phone, learns the second shell is blank. He's going to take a peek at the next shell, learns that the next one is blank. He's going to steal handsaw here, even though he had a guaranteed win. Okay, so I think that might be a bug in how guy works, but that's okay. He's going to shoot himself, and then he's going to shoot himself again, and then now he's going to shoot new dealer for 1. So he should have stolen inverter there, but whatever. It's all good. Guy doesn't play the best. That's how it goes sometimes. All right, move on to round 3 here, and guy gets to start off again. So new dealer gets inverter, beer, handsaw, and adrenaline. Guy gets beer, expired medicine, beer, and magnifying glass. And guy gets to go first. So let's see what he opts to do. It's 3 live, 3 blank. He's going to take a swig of alcohol to start off with. Ejects a live. He's going to use another beer. Ejects another live. He's going to use a magnifying glass, and then he's going to eject a blank. Now he's just going to shoot new dealer here for 1. Boom, hits him. It's going to go to new dealer, who knows that the next 2 shells are both blanks. So new dealer is going to invert the next shell and then saw it off and shoot guy for 2 here. So he's going to invert here. He's going to saw it off, and then he's going to use adrenaline here because he's at less than 4 health. And guy has expired meds. And so he's going to use expired meds here, and we're going to see what happens. He grabs expired meds, and he gets lucky with expired meds and goes back up to 4. So he's going to go ahead and shoot guy here for 2. Guy is at 2. New dealer at 4. But guy gets to start the new loadout. He's going to eject the last one, and boom. Let's see what happens. New loadout is 1 live, 1 blank. Guy gets a magnifying glass, expired medicine, burner phone, inverter. And new dealer gets cigarettes, magnifying glass, beer, expired medicine. Guy's going to go here. He's going to use burner phone to start off with, I think. So he learns that the second shell is live, which means he knows the next shell is blank. He's going to invert it to being a live, and he's going to shoot the new dealer for 1 here. Now, new dealer is going to go. He's going to smoke up to 4, and he's going to shoot guy back for 1. So it's a pretty stupid play from guy there, but he's not a great player, so, you know, that's how it goes. And now guy gets to start the new loadout, though. Let's see what happens. So guy gets handsaw, beer, and new dealer gets cigarettes, adrenaline, and jammer. And guy's going to start. So he's going to start off by using his beers, I think. He's going to drink a beer, He's going to use a magnifying glass, sees the next shell is live. He's going to saw it off, Shoots dealer for 2 here. Now dealer's going to go, and they're going to use beer to eject the live. And now they know the rest of the shells are blanks. So he's going to use beer here, even though he knows the next shell is blank, because that's what he does. It's the dealer way. And then he's going to use his cigarettes next over expired medicine, because he always uses cigarettes before he uses expired meds. Goes up to 3. He's going to use his own expired medicine next. Take a 50-50 of gaining 1. He does gain 1. He gets lucky. And then he's going to jam Guy here, because there's 2 or more shells remaining in the loadout, even though he knows both of them are blanks. And then he's going to shoot himself twice and waste the jammer there, or handcuffs. Alright, so now we go to the next loadout here. It is 3 live, 3 blank, looking kind of dire for Guy here. And dealer gets expired meds, handsaw, and Guy gets inverter, jammer. He gets to start. It's 3 and 3. He's going to use jammer to start off with. Going to take a shot. Hits new dealer for 1. It's going to go to new dealer. Now he's going to use the inverter here because there are more blanks than there are lives, and that's what Guy does. He's going to invert it here, and then he's going to shoot new dealer for 1. And now new dealer's a 2, but they get a start, and so I think they have a guaranteed kill on Guy here. He's going to use a magnifying glass, peep the next shell, going to use expired meds. Gets lucky again and goes up to 4. And he's going to saw it off, and he's going to shoot Guy for 2 here, which kills Guy, which means that Guy's endless mode run has come to an end. Poor Guy, rest in peace, and there you go. New dealer wins. Guy goes home dead and penniless. It's the Guy way, all right? Well, as we can see, Guy does not play optimally, but he plays, he plays okay. And there you go. There you have it. Wow, wasn't that just delightful? Here we go. We got Guy versus new dealer in current endless mode. So this is basically current endless mode rules. Guy versus the new dealer. Let's see how he did in the long term. So, out of 100,000 runs, not 10,000, we're not doing that baby boo-boo shit. We're upping it to 100,000 endless mode runs. Guy versus the new dealer AI in current endless mode. So this would be what you would see if you boot up endless mode today. Guy won a median of $40,000 and an average of 4.6 rounds. Reminder, I just chose $40,000 as what you're going to win, in endless mode, because that's probably about average of what people are going to get. For those who don't know, the initial score that you get in endless mode for the first gauntlet, it's going to be time dependent. So the quicker you do it, the higher your score. But I was just like, I don't know, 40,000 is probably about what the average person would get in the first gauntlet. I've seen some people get $10. They probably got up and went and got a coffee, in between rounds. So there you go. But anyway, Guy won a median of $40,000, meaning that he was never able to double it, right? He just got his initial score, kept it, and moved on. And he got an average of 4.6 rounds completed, won, before he lost. So that's pretty low. But once again, Guy isn't the best player. Overall, round-to-round win rate of 82%. So, pretty mediocre here. 2.5%, so 2.57% of guys got more than $1 million in their runs. And there was one lucky guy, though, who won $21 billion. And in fact, 4 guys became dead billionaires because they don't keep the money. They're guys after my own heart. I don't keep anything. Well, I say I don't keep anything less than $1 billion, but I've never gotten to $1 billion. So who's to say I would even keep them? I can't say. But 4 of these guys became dead billionaires. And here we got a delightful little chart here. You can see here from $0 all the way up to $21 billion here. We have a lot of guys dying before they even get any money, $0, and then, a good amount getting into 40,000, and then they start continuing all the way up until there's one tiny little guy right there who got $21 billion and had the gall to not keep it. My God, how greedy can these guys get? Now, what about the old dealer AI? Well, let's see how the old dealer AI does against the guy in the new endless mode rule set. All right, I'm not going to cut to a video here, that would take too long, but you'll see the old dealer AI in a bit, don't you worry. But for now, we're just going to be looking at the data that I pulled running the old dealer AI in current endless mode. So we're going to see if you're playing against the basically the AI from main mode in current endless mode, how much easier would it be to complete? Well, out of 100,000 runs, Guy won a median of $40,000, again, an average of 6.25 rounds. So the last one I think was like 4.5 rounds. It's gone up to 6.25 rounds, won on average, meaning that the average person is able to at least get to the point where he doubles the money, and then they die. Overall round-to-round win rate of 86.2%, which is about 4% higher than the new dealer AI that currently runs in endless mode. So 66.66%. I forgot I put a little devil emoji. I made this presentation yesterday, so all these delightful little Easter eggs are surprising me. Thank you, Pat DKB. But 6.66% got more than $1 million. As you'll remember, I think the other one was like 2.75% or something like that. And 66 got more than $1 billion. That's a lot of sixes, dude. This is a cursed run here. But 66 got more than $1 billion. I mean, it's still 66 out of 100,000, but still, you know, that's a lot of guys getting to $1 billion. And we actually got 2 trillionaires. So basically, people who did not even keep the billion, they were so greedy, they went all the way up to $1 trillion. And the highest score was $21 trillion of Guy versus the old dealer in the current endless mode. Now, one little fun fact I got for you is I actually got all of the data and I output the little seeds that correspond to all of the different runs. So I could actually go back and replay some of the best runs from all these, Guy versus the dealer matches. So if you're interested in seeing the $21 trillion run here, I can replay it and upload it to my second channel or something like that with a little bit of commentary. It'd be kind of fun, but let me know if you're interested in that. But here we go. We got a nice little graph here. You see endless mode versus old dealer, and you can see the range goes all the way up to 21 trillion bucks. We still got the majority of people getting $0, getting knocked out pretty much immediately. You can see here it skips the 40,000 because it needed to make space for all this shit. But we have, some people in the 40,000 or 80,000 bucket right there. And there you have it. All right. So pretty definitively, we can say now that new endless mode is harder because the new AI is definitively smarter. At least like 4% smarter, it looks like, right? Well, not necessarily. We can't really say, we can say that the new AI is smarter, but we can't yet say if endless mode is harder than what it used to be with the old AI and the old rule set, because the new items may have made the game easier for the player to win. So how are we going to, decide this one way or the other? So what we're going to do is we're going to put Guy against the old dealer in his own environment, on basically his own home base with his own rules, items he's familiar with, everything just as it used to be. Home field advantage going to the old dealer. Let's see how Guy does versus the old dealer with the old rules. I'll catch you at the end of the video. Alright, and we are back for another classic endless mode run. Guy versus the old dealer. And this one is truly classic because we are using old style, old-fashioned endless mode rules, meaning no new items and old item spawning counts, etc., etc. There's a real throwback here. But Guy gets to start off per usual, 2 health each here, and let's see what happens. There's 1 live, 2 blanks, and let's see what items they get. Guy gets cigarettes, jammer, and old dealer gets magnifying glass, and Guy gets to start. So he's going to use a jammer here. He's going to shoot old dealer twice, unfortunately hitting him with both blanks there, but what can you do? Old dealer picks it up, shoots back at Guy for 1, hits him, and then it goes back to Guy. Now there's 3 live, 3 blank, and Guy gets to go here. He gets a beer and a magnifying glass and a handsaw. Old dealer gets jammer, handsaw, cigarettes. And Guy gets to start. He's going to smoke back up to 2 here. He's going to use a beer, ejects a blank. He's going to use a magnifying glass, sees the next shell is live, saws it off, kills the old dealer, winning round 1 of the initial gauntlet. Moving on to round 2. Let's see what happens here. It's 2 live, 2 blank, and 3 health each. Let's see what items they get. Guy gets cigarettes, magnifying glass, beer, and another cigarette, because in old-fashioned endless mode, the cap on cigarettes is actually 2 instead of 1. In the new rules, it's actually 2. So now old dealer is going to take a look. He sees a magnifying glass. He gets a magnifying glass, smokes, beer, and more smokes here. And guy gets to start, and he's going to take his turn. He's going to eject one using beer. Ejects alive. He's going to use a magnifying glass. Sees the next one is blank. He's going to aim it at himself because he knows the next one's blank. And now he's going to shoot the old dealer for 1 because he always aims at dealer. And then boom, there we go. Old dealer's going to go now. And he knows the last shell's blank, so he's not going to use either of these 2 items, but he's going to use his cigarettes to go back up to 3. Goes up to 3, shoots himself with the blank. We move on. And then now it's 4 and 4, and old dealer gets magnifying glass, magnifying glass. Guy gets beer, jammer, and he gets to start. He's going to start out by drinking beer, ejects a live, and use jammer. He's going to jam old dealer and shoot at him twice. Hits him with the first shot. He's going to miss him with the second shot here. Now old dealer is going to go, and he's going to use a magnifying glass here. Sees the next one is live. He's going to smoke back up to 3. He's going to shoot guy for 1. It's going to go back to guy, who's going to smoke back up to 3. He's going to pick it up and shoot at old dealer here. Misses. It's going to go to old dealer, who's going to use a beer here to eject a blank. Uses a magnifying glass. Sees a live there. Is now going to shoot guy for 1. And now guy is going to go. He's going to smoke back up to 3. He's going to shoot the last one at himself because he knows it's blank. And we go to the next loadout. And no new loadout is 2 live, 2 blanks. Old dealer gets beer, cigarettes. Guy gets handsaw, handsaw. And now he's going to saw it off, shoot old dealer for 2 here. Hits him. Now old dealer's going to go. He's taking a little peek with the magnifying glass. Sees the next one is live. Uses cigarettes, goes back up to 2. Is going to shoot guy back for 1. Now guy knows the remaining 2 shells are both blanks. So he just picks it up, shoots himself twice. We move on to the next loadout. 5 hours later. And then he's going to saw it off, shoot old dealer for 2 here. Moving on to the next loadout, up to 640 grand. And of course, it's a carryover round, 2 health round here. And let's see what happens. It's 4 and 4. Guy gets jammer, beer, and old dealer gets magnifying glass, magnifying glass. So guy gets to start here. He's going to take his turn. He's going to use beer, ejects a blank. Uses jammer next. And jams old dealer. He's going to saw it off, but he's going to miss here. Unfortunate. And goes to old dealer here, who actually, he's jammed though, so it goes back to guy, who's going to shoot him for 1. Now old dealer is going to go here. He's going to use a beer to start off with, ejects a blank. Uses a magnifying glass, sees the next one is live. He's going to jam here. He's going to shoot guy, and hits him for 1. And I think this might be a guaranteed loss. No, he uses beer here, but he sees that the next shell is blank. And the run has come to a close for our guy here. And boom, he is dead, leaving with $640,000 and no life. And finally, the old dealer wins. His hat has been replaced with a crown. Good stuff, good stuff. Well, there you go. 640 grand is pretty good for just a heuristic AI. Well, there you go. All right, that was a blast from the past. Here we got Guy versus Old Dealer in old endless mode. Let's see how he did in the long run. Well, we've got out of 100,000 runs run against the Old Dealer in old endless mode. Guy won a median of $40,000 again. Surprise, surprise, an average of 4.9 rounds. So I think earlier in new endless mode, on average, the guy won 4.5 rounds. So now in old endless mode against the Old Dealer, he's winning 4.9 rounds. So slightly higher, but not by quite a lot, right? Overall round-to-round win rate of 83%, as opposed to the 82% in the basically new endless mode versus the new dealer. So pretty comparable. 3.44% got to that $1 million mark, which is slightly higher than I think the 2.7% from current dealer with current endless mode. And the highest score was 5.2 billion, which is actually lower than the highest score for new endless mode versus the new dealer, which was I think 21 billion. So there were 7 billionaires in this case, which I think is more overall, but not as high, high of a high score as with the new current dealer. So yes, it looks like they're animated separately. So yes, looks like the new Endless mode is un poco de harder than the old Endless. There we go. So we can definitively say it's maybe about like 1% harder than the old Endless mode. Or sorry, yeah, 1% harder than the old Endless mode for the average guy here. We got our chart again. Looks pretty similar to the other one with the old dealer. But we can see here that even though we were saying that the new dealer is about 4% more intelligent, or basically, reduces Guy's win rate by about 4% compared to the old dealer AI, we see that the new items that were added to the game make it about 3% easier. So net, we're seeing that the new Endless mode is about 1% harder, is what I'm seeing here, okay? Well, just for funsies though, let's look at what the new dealer AI would look like in old Endless mode and see if he can thrive in this foreign environment where he doesn't have his fancy inverters and burner phones, etc., etc. I'm not going to run the video there. If you want to see some of those matches, let me know. I can slap them on the second channel. But let's just take a look at the data. Guy versus a new dealer in old Endless mode. Let's see what happened. Out of 100,000 runs, Guy won a median of 40,000 bucks again, an average of 3.6 rounds. Woof, that is pretty bad. That is the worst we've seen so far. Overall, round-to-round win rate of 78%. So once again, that's actually about 5% lower than what we were seeing earlier. And 1.11% got more than $1 million. And the highest score was a measly $327 million. Not even $1 billion. We don't keep less than $1 billion. For all intents and purposes, this is fucking chump change, buddy. There's the chart right there, and you can see it is much more compact than any of the other charts that we had. Because nobody was getting up into those billies there. Nobody at all getting shot down by the new dealer AI. So by far, old Endless mode, so basically old items, etc., etc., with the new dealer is the hardest configuration out of these four. So we can see that the new dealer AI, let me just go to the conclusion page. Yes, the new dealer AI is smarter, as we saw. I'm saying about 4% smarter against the average person, I would say. It wins about, 4% more against the average player than the old AI. However, the addition of new items makes Endless mode slightly easier to offset the more intelligent AI. But all in all, Endless mode has gotten slightly harder due to the new AI, but I'm going to say not by much. Now, this whole video was kind of framed as seeing like the average result against the average player. However, this doesn't answer the question, what if you're playing optimally though, right? So, for example, I just had some simple heuristics, but what if an AI like Wayne, my Expecting Max AI, was trying to play Endless mode? Could he have a higher win rate in old, Endless mode where there's only handsaws and magnifying glasses and beers and cigarettes and handcuffs? Or could you have a higher win rate in the new one? Well, that sounds like a fun experiment. You'll have to stick around if you want to see that video. But anyway, hope you had fun watching. I had a lot of fun recording this. This is taking me back to the old days. We got a new year. I'm slightly sick. You may have heard it in my voice there, but I'm getting over it. Going to get back in the swing of things. Want to be making those good buckshot analysis videos, other sorts of analysis videos, gambling analysis, all sorts of stuff. I'm pumped. I think 2025 is going to be a good year. Maybe not overall. I mean, shit kind of sucks right now. But, for me personally with my YouTube channel, maybe it'll be a good year. But I'm feeling good about it. Hope you had fun watching. And I hope you have a fucking terrible time. All right, bye-bye.